Hey guys, thanks for coming back to watch another podcast. This time we actually have Edgar Vargas right here in front of us. I know he's known for lending, but for the people that don't know you, tell them why they should listen to you and what are you doing right now?
Yeah, no, hey, thanks Jose for making the drive up here, man. We were at a meetup yesterday and,
a lot of networking.
Yeah, a lot of networking, but...
Yeah, how many people?
It was about 700 people that showed up for the event.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I hope Savannah turns up like that tonight.
Yeah, the door was to the back. It was amazing. Huge turnout event for Pace Morby and the community here in Atlanta. But yeah, no, thanks for the opportunity to be on your podcast, man, and share a little bit about my story about real estate investing, right?
Yeah.
Everything looks simple, right, on YouTube and people, but it takes work, dedication, right? It takes being consistent. I think that's one thing, right? Just consistency.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know how hard it is. The thing on social media, we all present it we live an easy life, but actually the hard part is behind the scenes, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge, and I think that's the beauty about any entrepreneur business, right? All businesses should be difficult.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess, explain to us how you got started into real estate and what you did before.
Yeah, so I got a degree in electrical engineering. Graduated from a college here in Marietta, Georgia.
Which one? Kennesaw?
Southern Poly.
Okay.
It got bought out by Kennesaw State.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so now it's KSU. But I got an electrical engineering degree. Pretty much my whole profession has been under the healthcare space.
Okay.
Working in the medical imaging equipment space, MR, CT equipment,
nice.
Installing them, maintaining them, servicing them. Had the opportunity to work for GE Healthcare. I'm still actively with GE Healthcare, so that's pretty awesome. It's a great industry to be in, for sure.
Okay, cool. And so, you graduated with electrical engineering, right? But you never ended up pursuing that?
No, I did. So within healthcare space, it's the medical equipment space has a lot of involvement with the electrical engineering aspect of it, from the digital side to any analog or voltage, anything like that.
So how long have you been working in that space?
So it's been over 20 years.
Okay.
And then how I got into real estate, right? It's a great way to make money, but to build wealth, right, you do need to acquire assets, and that's where healthcare space comes into the journey of mine. It's like, hey, we need to start building wealth over time and being able to make that generational change as well, right?
Okay. So how did you end up getting your first deal? Were you working at that space while you got your first deal, or
Yeah,
I mean, you had to, right? Yeah.
So it's when you start, right, it just depends on where you're at in your journey, right? So for me, I'm a dad, I have a family, right? I need that active income, solid, stable active income to support the family.
For sure.
So, they say that 9 to 5 and then that 5 to 9, right? Mm-hmm. So it was that mindset of being able to put that extra work after hours, being able to, initially I started wholesaling, reaching out to agents, sellers, and I was able to lock in a few deals with direct to agent. Actually, I had better success that way just because I was able to build relationships. But, you do have to put in the work, right? You have to make those calls. And initially it's going to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong. So your first deal was talking to agents, correct?
Yeah.
And you ended up wholesaling that deal?
Wholesaling it, yeah.
Awesome. While working that job, right?
So it was going to be a keeper. I thought it was going to be a keeper. But, being new in the space, you don't really understand numbers.
Yeah. You have to play it safe and make money fast, right?
Yeah. So it's like, I could keep it. It's going to appreciate over time. But what's today's money, right? Is it going to cash flow? And that's where when you start underwriting the deal and seeing if it makes sense, it's like, no, it doesn't make sense. So
okay. So from the moment that you started wholesaling until before you got into lending, how many years was that in between?
So it was about a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what made you decide to get into lending?
So I attended a mastermind with Abraham Gray and Alexis Morgan. Big shout out to them. They're big into the lending space as well, more the private money lending side.
Yeah.
And just being able to work capital, right? Work your own capital. That's where I really got into the lending area, and it was like, hey, this is a great niche as well, great opportunity to be able to put my money to work, put other people's money to work, but at the same time broker other people's money, you know?
For sure.
There's always that thing where in real estate, they say, hey, you don't need your money, right? You can use OPM money.
Yeah. Which is
Right.
other people's money, by the way.
Yeah,
if
so
you guys
other
didn't know.
people's money, right? Being able to use other people's money to be able to leverage and acquire properties or fix and flip them, you know, using hard money lending products. That was just a great opportunity. And I was like, I like that. I like that. It doesn't mean that I won't be wholesaling down the road, but for now,
for
I
sure.
think this is
But yeah,
pretty awesome.
so basically your mindset is just to mainly go 10x focus on the lending space, right?
Correct.
Okay, cool. And so I'm assuming that, I mean, you're doing other things too, right? I mean, seeing on your social media, you're like doing, I think, I don't know if you're just lending or you're also like partnering on flips or co-living projects.
Yeah, so good question. Yeah, so I mean, the idea is, right, to be able to leverage and partner with solid operators, right?
Okay.
So yeah, there's some new construction projects that I've been involved in, been able to partner up with. There's an ultra luxury modern home that my partner Joseph Castañeda, big shout out to him. He's putting an awesome project out there, and it's a brand new home. He has another one coming up as well, and then there's manufactured homes as well.
Yeah, you're part of that,
That are
right?
pretty awesome. Yeah. So,
Have y'all sold? I don't know. Last time we spoke,
yeah, so
you had one.
one of them
right?
sold. I think
Nice.
the other one needs to be refinanced though, or it was close on being sold as well.
Okay.
So
that's good.
That's a pretty awesome space there.
Yeah, I feel like that's
manufactured homes.
Yeah, I feel like that's on touch or on tap. You know.
Yeah.
Basically, what you are doing is just placing the mobile homes on lands and just selling it as a packet, right?
Yeah, selling it as a packet to a conventional buyer through FHA or USDA loans.
Okay, cool. So I guess for your 5-year plan, what does that look like? You know, like the Mount Everest.
Mount
you?
Everest, yeah. So in Owners Club, we have this Mount Everest where we where we're looking at putting a purpose behind our real estate journey. And that is definitely important, right? Because you don't want to get burned out. In real estate, it's easy, right? You put in all these crazy hours, right? And
For sure.
without really seeing that, what does that goal look like? So for me, it goes around that co-living model. Although, you know, it is a 5-year journey, I am making steps to build the relationships.
Yeah.
And it's around being able to provide affordable housing for immigrants
Oh, that's
through
cool.
the co-living model.
Nice. And okay, that's good. I guess what's the steps in order to do that?
So to me, it's understanding, right? What does that look like as far as whether it's going to be that rent by the room model?
Okay.
You know, because we talk about co-living, but there's also like Section 8 co-living, right?
Yeah.
Just making it affordable.
Okay.
But definitely rent by the room model here in Georgia, and being able to build relationships with Hispanic, Latino business owners.
Yeah, because you
that
host
need housing.
You host Nosotros, right?
Yeah, so we have
Okay.
Nosotros, which is a big Latino group here in Georgia. You know, and there's a big Latino Hispanic population here in Georgia, so there is a need for housing. Being able to provide, you know, some solid housing for them, I think that's something that I want to look at.
Yeah, for sure. I'm interested in it. Okay, so before we go into talking about like your lending, like what can you bring in to help out these new investors when it comes to like, you know, who do I need to find in order to raise money for projects or their deals? So all I wanted to say that I respect that, you know, you do have a W-2, but you're also still killing it in the real estate space, you know, because like I wanted to mention that, you know, I don't know if I told you, but at the moment I worked in the nursing field, right? Then I ended up doing a couple of deals and I ended up leaving, right? But I mean, there's pros and cons to that decision, but man, that's awesome. I'm glad that you're still doing it, still sticking with that job and still killing it. But yeah, so for your lending, I guess there's a lot of competitors out there, right?
Oh, for sure.
So what would make you stand out from others?
Yeah. So I mean, you know, I think that's business, right? In any business, there's competition, right? You look at great businesses like Starbucks, right? We're actually here at a Starbucks.
And the code.
Yeah. But, you know, any business has competition. So to me, you know, it doesn't matter if you're wholesaling, you're going to have competition, right? It doesn't matter if you're whatever business you start, there's always going to be that competition. So one of the factors that stand us out is we definitely want to build that relationship, right? Where, hey, I want to find the best terms for you as the investor, whether you're a new investor, whether you're a seasoned investor, something that makes sense for you. And, you know, instead of you know, nowadays, right, they have all these services, right? Like
Yeah.
you got Uber Eats, right? You got
For sure.
delivery
DoorDash.
services to DoorDash,
Yeah.
right? So it's kind of that a la carte type of idea where we want to be able to shop around like the best terms for investors, so they don't spend time, right, wasting time trying to find, hey, I have this property that I need to refinance, or I have this fix and flip. Where can I get the best terms, right? Because it does take time, and it does take time building relationships with the lenders to be able to get the best terms. So once you have that relationship with the lenders, we can bring that to our investors and be like, hey guys, you know, we got great products here that can give you great interest rates, competitive terms as well.
Yeah.
At the end, right, it has to make sense, right? And sometimes we do get outbeat, right? And it's normal. That's competition,
that's for everybody.
right?
Yeah, happens to everybody.
Yeah. So, but it's business. So hopefully the idea is to be able to build that repeated business where people trust us and they know that we're going to do good for them, and be able to, you know, and then tell them the truth. Sometimes when projects don't pencil out, it's like, hey, I would, you know. I know you really want to take this project because maybe it's your first fix and flip, but numbers wise don't pencil out. So why go that route? You know, we're just not going to hand a loan to make money and to put a lender in a bad, to put a borrower in a bad position, right?
Yeah, even though they see it as oh no, they're not going to give you money, but again, you just save them from going into failure on their project.
Yeah.
So I mean, not only do you all lend money, but you also advise on if it's a deal or not, and it saves them time and money.
Yeah.
You know, which is pretty great. You know, now I don't think a lot of lenders do that. They just they don't underwrite as good as y'all. You know, but how many transactions do y'all do every month? About.
Yeah, so the team, you know,
you got a pretty big team, right?
Yeah, so we have a solid team. I mean, there's several loans that come across, right? Not all of them pencil out, or not all of them make it to the finish. But again, that's part of the lending business. You know, if people that are into wholesaling, you know, probably they relate with that. How many calls they make a day to how many actually people
KPIs,
say.
Yeah. Hey, we're actually going through one right now. You know, for my dad, pues, you know. So it's going pretty good. So I guess you also mentioned, or I saw you post about you doing a 0% credit stacking, correct?
Right.
Explain to me what that is.
Yeah, so 0% business credit, the way it works is it is based on the business, but initially there's two separate types of like business credit per se. There's a line of credit on your business.
Okay.
There's 0% business credit related to the business, but tied to your personal guarantee. By the borrower. So in that instance, the borrower does need to have a FICO score of like 680 or higher, 700 ideally, for banks to say, hey, we can lend him money. You know, because it is a personal guarantee. It's not like a line of credit on the business that, like, if you were to go to Home Depot, like to Lowe's, right? Yeah. You can get a credit card based on your business, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All these other ones, like Chase, would give you like 100K or 20K 0% business credit, right?
How long does the business have to be open?
It could be a new business.
Really? You just open up a business
but it just
tomorrow?
has to really depend on the borrower, right? So, so if you have like a 700K credit score and you've been a good borrower, right, with other institutions, more than likely you're going to get approved for 0% business credit.
Really? Just like that?
Just like that, yeah.
So is it, man, that's pretty great, because I mean, you could just use that money for a flip and then just return the money,
so
right?
That's where other people, right, think about OPM, right? We talked about other people's money.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily just people that you're going to borrow. You could borrow banks' money, right, at 0%, and then get into a flip.
So when you say bank, I'm assuming that you have to develop that relationship, right? Or
right. So I mean, there's like the team we work with, right? They have the relationships with all those lenders.
Yeah.
Where we just put your file through and look at your profile as a credit profile. And, hey, is this person? How much can this person get applied with different lenders?
Yeah.
Right. When we talk about banks, we talk about Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, right? These major big institutions, but there are so many other banks out there that are really
competitive?
Yeah, I mean, not competitive, that are really to put money,
already
approve, loan money, right? Because that's how they make money. And they're banking on people not paying
that
0%, right, at the end of 12 months, because then they're going to make money. But that's where it distinguishes between business entrepreneurial owners that understand, right, what type of business they're in to be able to pay that off before it expires.
Yeah, so for the banks to give out 0% interest, I mean, they're not. I mean, I'm sure they're charging points up front too, right?
No.
Nothing?
No.
It's like no. So the borrower doesn't have to pay anything up front. They have to make monthly payments, though, right?
No. So the
What?
so you have. I mean, you do have minimum monthly payments that you can make, but in order to get approved, now the team we work with, there is a fee, right?
Yeah.
For us to be able to
Okay.
run through your profile and get you approved and get you tied into the lenders. But when it comes to the bank, yeah, the banks, I mean, as long as you keep up with their monthly payments of whatever it is, you're good. Now, I do want to highlight that there is a risk potentially involved that the bank could potentially call and say, or call the, not call the note, but they could say, hey, you need to pay your full amount.
Accelerate the loan, no?
Yeah,
They were like
randomly.
demand the whole loan to be due.
Yeah, that's a possibility. It's happened, rare, but it does happen. So that's one thing that, as business owners, entrepreneurs, they need to understand that risk.
I mean, you're talking about whenever they transfer the title, the seller transfers the title.
No. Like 0% business credit.
Why would they
if you
call
have
it
a
due?
0% business credit that has $20,000 and you have $10,000 on it, let's say 4 months down the road or 6 months down the road, they could potentially see something that they don't like and they could call that and make you pay it early.
What would they won't like?
I don't know. It's happened, right? So that you do want to make sure that people are aware that that is a possibility.
Yeah, I never heard of that. It sounds similar like the due and sell clause, but it's not because
but
it's not about the title.
Happened, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I mean, I guess that only happens in the lending space, no? Okay.
Yeah, with 0% business credit, like it has happened. Like I said, it's rare that it happens, but the possibility's there, right? So being able to, that's why they call it credit card stacking, because if you had another credit card at 0%, right, something like that were to happen, you could use that credit card to pay that one off. Or sometimes when your term's about to expire, you can get another card and then pay that one off and continue staying with that 0% over time.
What's it called whenever the thing you just said where the bank is able to call the note? It's not the note, right? But they call the loan due.
Yeah.
Like, and there's a due and sell clause, but what is this called?
That's a good question. I don't know what the term would be called for that. I have just seen it, like people that have brought it up, and it's,
I'm gonna
so
do
it
research on
happens.
it.
So we'll definitely look up and we'll put more notes probably in the comments so that people have questions about that. I'll tag the article there about it.
Yeah, that way you can be safe.
Yeah. Just, it's something, right, to bring up and be aware, right? Because we don't want to sugarcoat everything. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's beautiful to have 0% business credit, but at the same time, you do need to have some capital, right? Where something were to go south, just like as in a fix and flip, right? You need to have that capital to be able to back up, right? And be able, yep, I got this. We're gonna pay it off, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's cool, man. So, anything else you want to say to them in regards of like what to watch out for whenever they're looking out for new lenders? When it's their first time?
Yeah, that's a good question, man, because, I see a lot of Facebook posts saying, hey, I have this lender that's charging me an upfront fee of, XYZ of money, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to fix and flip, you shouldn't pay anybody, right, to give you soft terms.
So soft terms are almost free or free?
Yeah, I mean, they should be free.
Oh, they should be free?
I mean,
y'all charge for, y'all don't charge, right?
Yeah, we don't charge for soft terms.
Yeah.
It's, hey, we appreciate you thinking of us and considering us to do business, right? Why should we charge anything for somebody to
shop
provide,
around?
to provide terms? So the idea is to build relationships, but yeah, you shouldn't charge anybody for terms, right? The other thing is you shouldn't charge anything up front. Now, there are instances where outside of fix and flips, like transactional lending, such as EMD, like if a wholesaler needs earnest money, yes, you may need to pay a flat fee up front, right? Because the risk is there. The risk is there where if the earnest money is not paid in time, right, at least the lender can recoup some money. But when it comes to fix and flips or DSCR refinancements or anything like that, there shouldn't be any upfront costs. Now, not to direct to the broker or lender, but yes, you may have to pay an appraisal.
I mean, that's typical, right?
Yeah, so that would be one of the things that, you may have to pay up front, which would be an appraisal.
Yeah. Is anyone able to, raise that money for that appraisal fee or no? Or banks don't like that?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to, hey, do you have 0% business credit, right? Could you put that on a 0% business credit? The other thing with people don't talk a lot about if you are going to get into real estate space is let people know what you're doing, you know?
Yeah.
Use social media, use friends and family, right? Let them know, hey, I'm going to get into real estate. Once you need that capital, you know, it's going to be easy to potentially, you know, find people that would want to collaborate with you and bring capital to the table.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
So,
you know, I've had people reach out to me, you know, wanting to know how to invest in real estate. But then again, I'm still waiting on people to come out here and be like, hey, I have some money, I don't know what I need to do with it, you know?
right.
Or do you mind investing it for me? You know, I'm still waiting for that from social media.
I mean, it's going to happen.
But,
you know,
I can see the potential though. Like, it could happen.
Yeah, it could happen.
I've heard it happens for other people.
Yeah,
you know?
it's just about being present, being consistent, you know, and constantly documenting your journey as far as what type of projects you're involved, what type of how you're helping, right, the community, you know, because the projects you do are going to be helping community, right, in some way or the other. So documenting your journey, and then people will find ways that they're going to want to collaborate. Right now, there's different, right? There's more of the active investor that says, hey, I want to put money to work, but I want to learn.
Yeah.
Or there's that more passive investor is like, hey, I have some money, maybe that's making 4% on the bank. I see you're doing amazing stuff. Jose, could I just, you know, put like $50,000 to $100,000, right, to work with you? And I'm sure you're going to give him like 10% or 12% annualized returns, right?
Yeah.
So much more than what the bank is making.
For sure. Yeah, I always tell people that people who are saving up in their Wells Fargo accounts are really losing their money in the long run.
Yeah.
You know? But that's cool. I want to switch gears here for a bit. I know that you're in the lending space. There's a bunch of scams going on. I wanted to know, I'm just curious, like, have you come across scams?
Yeah, so in the good question, man. With scams and all this digital stuff, it comes more with title companies, you know, in the transactional lending space. When you're going to wire capital to a title company, you want to cross your teeth, right, and do everything to the best you can to ensure that that title company is legit. You know, you might get emails from a title company saying, hey, your transaction's ready to fund, right? Call the title company up and say, hey, I got this email. Is this really you guys, right? Making sure that and don't use the number that you got from the email. Look up that title company, right, through Google, and make sure call that number that's on Google.
Take that extra step.
Yeah, because if you call that number that you got through that email, most likely that person's going to be like, oh yeah, that was us, right? But that's not really the title company.
Yeah.
So there are scams, man, that happen.
It goes the same for attorneys, no, here in Georgia?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, attorneys, title companies, you know, anybody that, for whatever reason, if you receive an email and you're in real estate and, hey, you know, we're ready to fund your deal, or we're ready to close your deal, or whatever, hey, here are the wire instructions. Those should be red flags.
Is that the most common scam there is? Like that you've experienced?
Yeah.
Just people misrepresenting themselves?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, title or closing attorneys asking for wires, right? And they're not even legit. Or sometimes you are in the middle of a transaction, right? And somehow their system got hacked, and now you're getting an email, but you're in the middle of a transaction. You know, and it's like, oh, was this really them? Hey, let me call them and just verbally tell them my wire instructions, right?
Well, it's better to find out in the middle rather than after, right?
Yeah.
That's cool. So do you lend your own money too, or no?
Yeah.
Have you ever, I guess, lost money?
Yeah, it's, so when you're a lender, that was the other thing that intrigued me to get into the lending space was because, you know, I want to prevent people from making mistakes like I did, especially when people talk about, hey, you know, returns are great in real estate, but at the same time, that risk factor is higher if you don't understand what type of deal you're getting yourself into.
For sure.
So, you know, definitely evaluating, underwriting, and if you have questions, you know, reach out to us. We can help you understand if you're going to lend money, but it does come to safety. You know, Jose mentioned earlier, hey, could anybody lend like on an appraisal? Yes, right, but how do you protect if you are lending on an appraisal, right?
Yeah.
So you really have to know that person. Right, and be able to say, hey, you know, if this goes wrong, right, are you a solid operator that's going to pay me back my $750, right? Because that's how much an appraisal potentially could cost. Now that's just $750, right? Imagine if you're lending $20,000.
Yeah.
How are you securing those $20,000? And it also comes to what's your risk tolerance when it comes to being a lender as a private money lender. You know, $750 for somebody that's making $200,000. may not be anything, right?
Yeah.
So if they lose 750, you know, it's not going to hurt their wallet, right?
Yeah.
But for somebody making maybe, you know, that 750 a week, and they lose that, that's going to be a different story, right?
Mm-hmm. So, have you ever had to foreclose on anybody?
No.
No? Okay. Gotcha. Have you known people who, I mean, no, going back to the other question, you did lose money before, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, was it because it was a bad deal, or people turned out not who they say they were?
Yeah, the operator was definitely a big part of that, you know, and I blame myself for not really doing my due diligence more.
Yeah.
And understanding what that type of deal was. So, you know, the idea was to be able to acquire a property. That property had an existing mortgage, and be able to sell that property to an end buyer at a higher interest rate. So that's called a wraparound mortgage.
Yeah.
And in order to find this this end buyer, you know, they told me it would take 3 months. I ended up taking more than a year.
For what?
Just find that end buyer.
Really?
Yeah. So it took over a year, and then all the expenses accumulated, and you know, and at the end of the day, like I said earlier, right? If an operator is going to do you right, they're going to find ways to pay you back.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, it's just a big lesson. You know, always build that relationship before you lend money. Date them, you know, you can call dating, right? Just pretty much shadowing them through their projects, understanding where they're at in their journey before you lend money as a private money lender, and then understanding how your money is going to be secured, right? Having a lien position doesn't necessarily mean your capital secure if the property's not worth, right? Because if there's a first position loan that's high, and you're lending in second position, and that second position loan is not you know, if the property's not worth enough, you got nothing to collateralize.
Who's ever in second lien position is going to be hard to pay them back, right?
Yeah.
They're not the priority in that case. Wow. I mean, why? I guess I'm curious. Why a year? Like, was it just not a good market, or?
Yeah, there were some issues with the house, and then the market.
Okay.
Yeah. So it initially started with issues at the house, and then just the market. Property was in Ohio.
Oh, in Ohio?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it just didn't move.
I thought it was here in Georgia because we have a rep over there where we're at, and all I did was just on Facebook, and like we had someone from Florida just purchase the wrap, right? Because the monthly income was the same as the rent over there. But yeah, I guess I'm not familiar with the Ohio market, but that's cool. You know, I think we're about to close this down, but I wanted to say, how can people find you and contact you in case they want to get into the lending space, learn about it, or even borrow money from you?
Yeah.
Where can they reach you at?
So definitely through Instagram. Reach me out through Instagram at it's Edgar Vargas. That's where y'all find me. Send me a DM if you guys have questions about lending, or if you guys are looking for fix and flip loans. Happy to provide some soft terms for y'all and see how we can do some business together.
For sure. And like I said, I'm actually working on getting a loan from Edgar right now. So I trust the guy. He's verified. Y'all can reach out to him without any concerns.
Appreciate it, brother.
I appreciate you coming out, man.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you.
No, thanks for coming, man. Appreciate it.
See you guys.
Peace.